Hey guys, it's Mr. Jack000 here, back with Automation, the car company Tycoon game, and we're going to be building another car on here, but on here we're going to be building something from the 80s. I kind of thought about like my old videos and of course the car catalog, the car building catalog here is probably build something from like the 80s, kind of like the body style, somewhat to like a Toyota Corolla like E86 style body, where it's just like I did see it like kind of like this guy, like your average JDM import style body, kind of like this one. It's a boxy compact shell that the body editor calls it. So we're gonna be building this type of car here, and let's start things off. For the panel material, we will pick corrosion resist. Well, first of all, bring the year back. Let's make this a 1984, right, 1984 80s wannabe Toyota Corolla car. So the panel material will start off will be corrosion resistant steel. Next, the chassis. Let's throw something a little bit out of the ordinary. Let's throw up a monocoque chassis along with corrosion resistant steel chassis material. And engine placement will be front transverse with a McPherson strut. And rear suspension, let's take a look. We got solid axle coil, which it is pretty doggone excellent in compactness, off-road and load capability, everything on here. And a little bit not much at sportiness. How a solid axle leaf is better in load capacity. We're not like building a truck over here or some crossover. The semi-trailing arm, it's a balance in like everything, but a little bit more in weight. Torsion beam, it's more for compact use, and double wishbone if you're more of a sporting type, more of a sports car. Between this and these two, since we're building like a base model car, let's do a solid axle coil. And put that there, and now we go to the engine. And on this new update recently with the exporter updates, well, they recently patched it, and they also made an automation update on where you can build a boxer engine. It's basically a boxer is like a flat 4 or a flat 6 engine. So you can see here, it's a flat engine in here instead of like a conventional V engine like this at a 60 or a 90-degree angle, or even an inline where it's just the pistons are aligned vertically. They're actually aligned horizontally. So we'll be building a boxer 4 engine. I kind of thought maybe building like the old Subaru engines, like a, I think, what is it called? The EJ20 or something like that? Like that you kind of see in like 90s and early 2000s Subarus, like the Imprezas and Foresters, I believe. So let's just build our engine here. For engine, it's going to be block material of aluminum. And I think I've seen the specs for this. It's a 2-liter engine. I think bore is a 92. And stroke, I have it listed, 75. Bring this down. Good. With the head and valves, it'll be a dual overhead cam 4-valve with aluminum head material. Good. And crank, it's not really that much. Let's probably do cast iron and some heavy-duty forged cast conrods. Heavy-duty forged conrods, I meant. And maybe, which one of these two? Forged or hyper-eutetic cast. Well, we're not going to be building a carbon copy of the EJ20, but it just resembles one. So let's just use hyper-eutetic cast. And the compression ratio. Okay, this is going to be a little bit interesting for this type of engine. It's kind of a low compression engine, and I believe it's like a 8 point... Well, it kind of varies. It's like an 8.1 to like almost a 9. So let's start off with around maybe the lowest I see, 8.1. And we'll mess with the cam profile later. Turbocharger, I know it is turbocharged, but we're going to be building one of them that is a naturally aspirated and another one with a turbocharger. Maybe some other time. And fuel system, it's an ejection. And I didn't really see much info on this one, but I believe we can do a multi-point EFI, electronic fuel injection. A single configuration. Intake would be up to performance. Yeah, performance with premium fuel. And the revs, the RPM, I think it is at like 6,400 on most models. And for the headers, I don't know much about it. I think it's, let's do tubular for the heck of it. And it's a dual exhaust. And we'll bring this down quite a bit to maybe like a 1.5. And let's do a 3-way catalytic converter. Let's see. Baffled has some airflow. And reverse flow has like barely any airflow. Let's do baffled and straight. And it's 100 and... Wait, it peaks out at 5,900 RPM. What can we change? Alright, so choking... Well, I guess 1.5 does work out. Alright, let's see what we can actually change out of this engine and make it a little bit more better in performance. Let's see. We could try maybe messing with... yeah, we got plenty of octane left. So let's probably jump up to maybe an 8.5, which I do kind of see in some performance stats of the engine. But it's not official, but in some of the vehicles used by Subaru back in the 90s when this engine was used on those Subaru models. And for cam profile, let's see. We're going to bring this up so we can at least top out the RPM a little bit higher. See, now we're at 6,100 where it actually peaks before it drops in performance. And kind of like a little minor reduction in valve. Not like a major reduction, like valve foot, like so. There you go, you got valve foot. Let's just jump it up to maybe a... let's do a C... do 60. And maybe... There we go, up to quality, maybe to a 3. And anything else? How about the fuel system? We can probably mess with that a little bit. Maybe like, let's see. Jump the ignition timing, maybe? Or we bring the torque back somewhat. That's excellent. Let's make it a little bit advanced to like a 60 would do. And for the exhaust... let's find out. What if we take... Well, what's the sound right now? It's at 42... I don't know if it's measured in decibels right here. 42 decibels, the loudness value. What if we take it off? We're at 54, but it gives us 1 horsepower. Not much. And this brings up to 2. How about a high flow? Oh my god. Well, it's a base model car. I think for like the wannabe WRX STI models, we can put a high flow on here. What if we increase the exhaust? Take a 1.8. Not bad. Brings up by 1 horsepower and brings the torque back to 4,500 RPMs, 122 pounds-feet of torque. And I don't really see nothing else, but I don't want to do a turbocharger just yet. I don't want to go making things too insane by spending like 20 minutes just to build a turbocharger. And to make things worse and having to tune it to air-to-fuel ratio and get the octane down to under a 90. Yeah, we'll mess with that some other time. So I think we are probably good to excuse me, good to go. And let's test this engine out right about now. So here's the new sound of the Boxer engine for a Boxer 4-cylinder. I'm going to let you guys listen into it right now. So that is the new Boxer engine sound that is now implemented in this game. Your Boxer 4-cylinder engine. I don't know about the 6-cylinder, which I'm not really going to go into this in this video. So we're going to be doing that some other time. But maybe we get a Boxer 6-cylinder if we really want to. And for the heck of it, for the sake of the horsepower, what if we... Okay. Alright, let this final. 138 horsepower with 124 pounds-feet of torque at 4,500 RPM. Alright, we're good to go on the engine. Now for the car, let's just go with the sedan. And there you have it. That is your wannabe Toyota Corolla sedan. All boxy, not much aerodynamic-y. And that's how it was back then. And for the color... let's see. Just to make a wannabe Subaru vibe, what would blue mica look like? And it's got to be more of a... No, what would sky... Okay, sky blue. It's got to be a little bit darker. How about dark blue? That's a BMW-like color. Aqua mica. I did create this off camera when I was building those automation cars, like the Boardwalk and everything, on my last video on automation, which you can guys try out, which was my very first time trying out automation. You should go see it, which I was testing out all of the automation cars that I've exported, BeamNG cars that I've exported from automation, that's what I meant to say. So I think Aqua Mica that I made off camera making those cars, I think this is kind of an okay choice, I believe, with this color. And now we get to the car building part. Since like the 80s and 90s, like some parts of the 90s, they kind of had these pop-up headlights. So let's try making things make things worse by putting up some pop-up headlights, maybe right about watch here. All right, how good they stay flush with the vehicle. Oh, what they look like if they're up. Not too bad. I think the placement's a little bit more good. That placement's not too bad. Ain't that bad. And now we gotta build lights under here, so in case like the main pop-up lights failed, we got a backup plan by putting some lights here. Maybe a grill over here too. I kind of have it. I don't know, what is it? The Toyota. It's some sort of Toyota that had this. I don't want to say if it was. So I'm not saying like the Corolla A86, which I'm kind of almost making, but in a Subaru engine. But it's some other Corolla. I don't know if it is a Japanese or European model, but I did see it on Google one time, just looking up pop-up headlight cars from like the 80s and 90s back then. It kind of had a grill here and the word Toyota right here, and it got the lights, like the front headlights, kind of like these, just squashed down like this, and it's got the turn signals that wrap around the body. I forgot what it was, but I'm trying to I'm gonna be imitating the front end of this car, kind of like. So first of all, let's get a grill just to get an overview of what I'm kind of talking about. It's a flat rectangular grill. There you go. Okay, well, kind of like place it. Or are you gonna place it? Hold on a minute. Alright, so at first it didn't even let me put on this type of grill on here. I had to select a different grill, delete it, and put this one on here. So it's a rectangular grill just like this. Let's make it kind of taller, and then it kind of ends right almost at the line of the hood, like here. Right here. It kind of ends right here. And it's got the words Toyota. I think Toyota is like down here, and your lights are here. Just the headlights, secondary headlights, and the taillights. So we're gonna see what kind of front lights that we got. I think we can do something. Maybe like we can try these. I know it's a 60. Whoa, jeez. Nah, not those. Maybe. Is this the one I just looked over? Yeah, huh? No, it wasn't. Let's try these ones out. Grab them, and then make them smaller. Kind of, but maybe a little bit on the curviness part. I was thinking, would these work? Yeah, I think these would work out just fine. Let's match them with the pop-up headlights where they are located, like right just about there, but let's make them a little bit wider. Alright. Reposition them a little more. Good. And let's see. How does it look like? How does it look like, man? And they actually protrude out of the grill. How nice. Oh, whatever. Alright, let's try it again, but this time this will be the turn signals, like your indicators, so we can not actually put an indicator here. I can just wrap it around the side of the car, like... kind of. I mean, it's like that, but the turn signals just wrap around from the front and to the side. That eliminates like a separate indicator that you can just... You don't have to put like an actual indicator like right here and do it. I don't know. I don't know if it's even possible on this type of car with some of these headlights. I don't know if it is possible. Let's try these. Will this work out? Alright, make it smaller, wider. I don't think so. It's just like skewing the actual headlight and some of the body itself. Like there's actually like a hole in the body, but I don't know if that's actually gonna work out. I don't know. I really don't know. Let's put an indicator just for the heck of it. Maybe like your standard indicator, like right. Are you gonna? Oh, because I was gonna do it again, where it's not gonna let me place one. Maybe let's do it alongside, like right about here. Kind of like give it a look like the indicator does wrap around the headlight, like so. Hold on a minute. Why does it look like? Never mind. It's just a body style, making it look even more distorted. The indicator. And let's bring it down more. And good. Right? No higher. Good. And now for the badge. Let's just actually put the lettering JMC on here and just slapping this type of badge on the grill. Let's not do that. So first, let's find the middle. We're gonna get our M, our letter M, and let it snap to the middle like that. Make it a tad bigger, like so, like right. Hold on, gotta accept the grill because I clicked on it. So right there, that's our M, our wannabe Maybach, or Maybach, whatever you call it. I correctly pronounce it. And then the J. Let's put it right there, make it bigger, and then see if they actually match up in height. That's nice. Okay. Alright, we got J, M, right? Yep, alright, that's J, M, and now we gotta get the C for the company, Jack and Motor Company. Right there, bigger. And lastly, size, increase it a little bit more. Double check. Let's see. And god dang it. And I think it's good. Yeah, it's good. It is good. Nice. And now let's get our sides done by placing a couple of door handles, which are on for heck of it. Since they don't really do it, let's put a front license plate on here in case some American sellers that have requires a front license plate actually have to be presented up here. Like, let's get some space for a front license plate so cops don't pull you over and say you don't have a front plate. Because out here in Ohio, you do have to have a front plate, and it's actually law, including like I think some other states. I heard someone in Virginia had that problem with their Subaru Impreza, and it's actually low to the ground. You can't really have a front plate like actually mounted, so we actually had a custom like a motorized license plate revealer that reveals the plate right by the grill, and actually done that, and that he never got a ticket again because of that. Yeah. So for our mirrors, let's kind of keep it like remain in the. Let's see, they look kind of the same, like your 80s, like mid 80s like mirror look to it. Then we flip them horizontally, make them a lot bigger, like so, and I think that's big enough. Yep, that's big enough. And that's good enough. Now for our door handles. Here. Let's see. Let's pick one of these two. Let's pick this one. One here. And the other one, it's kind of funny, there's no choice but to keep the keyhole right there, because back doors, they don't really have keyholes, which I don't think you can really remove them. And we can place the back ones here. And that looks pretty good. And for heck of it, let's change the wheels out here. I kind of forgot about that. Let's change the wheels up. I don't want to use any modded wheels just yet. Let's just pick these. And it's not too bad. And for the back end, first of all, place our dual exhaust. Let's use a modded one, like, oh my god, this. Smaller, since it's a small exhaust model. What was it, 1.8 inch exhaust, I think. I think it's how big it is, so place them right there, make them a tad smaller, and place them here. Sucks they don't have a cutout, which you can still see the bumper, yeah, the bumper part. And now, for the brake lights. To keep it on that Corolla, like, late night 80s Corolla vibe, let's get some large brake lights, maybe like, I don't want to like, maybe like, I'm not going to put like an El Camino or an 80s New Yorker brake lights and reverse lights. Let's go a little bit wild and pick these ones. Yeah, it looks not bad if we can make them bigger. Like that. And more bigger. And that's plenty. Yep. That is plenty big in brake lights. Now I can actually see somebody like a mile away. Yeah, let's make them a little bit smaller and more hugging towards the top. Like, not up against it, but pretty close. Alright, that's our brake lights. And now, let's put a rear plate. Like here. Right here. And good. And now, we'll get to the naming part. For our car model, we'll call this boy the JMC, we'll call it the JMC Spindle. Yep, our JMC Spindle. And trim model, it's going to be a base one. Just to be like a wannabe Subaru, we'll call it the STD Sedan. And the family model for the engine, I did kind of try my best in the EJ style engine, so let's put EJ20. Just a standard one, and it's a naturally aspirated version of the engine. And for the naming part, let's see what we can do. I think probably maybe putting it like on the center JMC and the word Spindle right here. So first of all, kind of like I've done with the front of the vehicle, I'm going to put JMC here, get the M quite massively big here, and do the same thing, put the J here and the C here, and I think like small letters just put Spindle. And I'm not going to put the word like STD or sedan or base on here, because this on the left side will be the trim model, the center will be the manufacturer name, and the right side will be the car model name. So I'll get right back to you as soon as I get done working with the badges. Alright, now I'm completed the badges for the words JMC and the word Spindle on here. And, it kind of looks a little bit crooked. Yeah, it kind of does, real quick. I'm about to just up these up just a tad bit for every one of them. It kind of looks like a little bit slopped downward a little. Yeah, it looks a little bit more of a straight line now. It actually runs more in a straight line rather than just like slopping down like just straight, and a little bit sloppy here and a little bit sloppy there. So, that is our JMC Spindle, and now we get to the transmissions and everything. Let's build a manual. Let's start saying basic a 4-gear manual transmission with a top speed of 120-ish, 120 miles per hour. Estimated top speed 125. Well, good enough. And differentials, let's jump in with the open locker differential. And not do the quality there. And tires, let's do a radial hard long life tires running at, let's see the width for these, and it's kind of a little bit too big in the front. Let's do a do a 165. Rears would be a let's see. Wait, recommended what? Recommended width 144. On. Oh, it's just material cost. Oh, it's just the details of the tire. Does it like do anything else with the? No, it don't. How about we drop it down more to a 160? Even though the back ends are kind of long, let's just do a 160 for now. And everything else, keep it at 15-inch rims, steel. And now for the brakes. And on automation, BeamNG driver, I made a test video, which I forgot to add by JMC Tigris. On the brakes, when I actually did like 100 to 0 brakes, all the brakes showed it was fading and smoking. So what I'm going to be doing is putting some vented discs in, put a 3-piston, but actually make them quite big. We'll put a 250 on them, and same thing in the back, we'll do a 2-piston instead, and put a 200. Yeah, 200 size rear, a 200mm rear brake size with a 40-60 brake bias, and I believe we'll be good there. And under tray, no, none of that. Brake airflow, since we're gonna be putting this car on BeamNG drive. I don't like mixing up BeamNG drive and automation. Let's put the brake airflow to like a 25. Now let's do 220. Like, it'll cool down once it's when I'm braking hard on that game. And on here, it'll be a double standard. Interior and 8-track. Power steering, let's just do a standard hydraulic with standard 70s safety technology. And on here, springs, they're not really that much luxurious or anything used for sportiness. Let's just do twin, tube, and the standard springs. And what do we got? And we don't really have much of a car to give out. Well, what's the bad stuff here? Alright, front dampers are hard, reducing drivability and comfort. Consider reducing them. Same thing for the front and rear, and the front brake force is very high compared to grip, and the rear brake force is very high compared to grip. Well, on BeamNG drive, I had an issue with my Tigris where it can't brake at all. It's more like I have drum brakes. So I think you probably have to deal with it. So the dampers, let's just lower the front till we actually, here we go, the drivability is going up, reducing sportiness. We'll keep reducing it until it says we're good. Are we good yet? Alright, fronts are good. Bring out the back. And here we go, family, sport, and pony cars jumping up. And are we good in that? Nope. It's probably have to match up with, what is this, the rollout angle and everything? Or what's it actually called? The bump position? I probably have to match it up. Are we good? Nope. Same thing? Same value number? Not yet. A 2? Not yet. A 1.8? Good. Hey, it's declared a family sport, but it doesn't like the comfort in this type of vehicle. Well, for an 80s car that's just a standard basic vehicle, what else can you go wrong? Let's probably... What if we lower the dampers quite a little bit more? Oh wow, comfort went up. Yeah, comfort really went up on that one. How about the ride height by a tad? Nope. Pony car, it went up to actually more of a deserved vehicle for a pony car, but it's not a pony car. At all. Not the quality. Oh, better. It is better. Okay, so I did made minor, like, last second changes on the engine by, like, increasing the... Well, I did change out, like, the, what is it, the mufflers on there. Instead of having a reverse flow, I did baffled. So I did made last second changes and quality improvements to the engine. So it's 145 horsepower, revving still at 6,400 RPM. So we go to test track, and yes, it indeed goes to 120, as that I've limited the speed limit to. So let's save that real quick. And for the Top Gear test track, the airfield, let's see how it performs on the track. So I'm going to let you listen to the car as it drives along the track. And I'll come back with the results. Alright, so we got a lap time of 1 minute, 39 seconds, and 15 milliseconds. I do kind of feel dumb kind of interrupting the first part, like having that little break in my dialogue saying I'll come back with the results. Right when I said that, the car was beginning to launch off the starting line. And you can kind of see here it goes to 120 like I said earlier. It's got a top speed, which is pretty solid, of 0 to 62 or 0 to 100 of 8.2 seconds. That's like more of a, like I kind of mentioned, it's supposed to be like a wannabe Subaru engine. This is kind of like a 2.5 RS, not a WRX STI engine, but this is like a solid 2.5, or I think it's a 2.5 RS style, like Subaru trim model of this type of EJ20 engine. And 80 to 120 kilometers, 5.5, and quarter mile time, about 16 seconds. And there is no brake fade whatsoever with drivability, sportiness, and utility brake fade. Like if I would try to like lower the brake quality or just decrease the size of the brakes, then we'll definitely have brake fade. And if I were to drive that along on BMG Drive, then that'll be a big time problem. So 120 mile an hour stop to 120 to 0, it takes 5.7 seconds. That's nice. Alright, so for the Top Gear times, I do have it pulled up right now. Based on Top Gear's qualified vehicles, it does 1/10 of a second worse compared to the Subaru Impreza WRX Europe spec, which was tested on the first series on episode 2, and does a tad better, by 0.2 of a second better, than the Volkswagen Golf GTI Mark 7, or I think it's a 7th generation, which was tested on season 25, episode 4, and does better than a Bauer Wildcat, a Bentley Arnang T in wet conditions, the Ford Mondeo, Renault Aventine, BMW 318, and so on. So I think this is definitely one competitor to like your old school Subaru Impreza and Forester Outback vehicles based on the real life EJ20 engine. I think this is one solid competitor to your old school Subarus with that engine. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm planning on exporting this car to BeamNG Drive and also probably test that in a future episode on that game. So this has been Mr. Jekin000. I'll see you in the next video.